First off, can I just say I am sad about my mug? I just purchased this not too terribly long ago at TJ Maxx or Home Goods, one of the two. And I think I used it one time, and the second time I used it, my coffee kept leaking and I couldn't figure out why. And then I went to use it again today, and I found out that there is a little crack right here. I don't know if you can see it. This is like one of my favorites, and now I can't drink out of it. This is the mug that I am using today. Another TJ Maxx find. Another one that I purchased recently, and it's still sitting here from the other day, but this one was also purchased at TJ Maxx, and I just love their mugs. They have such pretty mugs all the time. Love them. Anyways, let's jump into the video. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Ashley and we're here to catch up. I'm going to do just a bit of a chatty video talking about all the things, but kind of briefly so that we can get through everything. So some of the things I want to talk about are going to be books that I've read recently, books that I'm reading now, some challenges that I've implemented or will be adding this summer, and some library checkouts. But first, a little bit of a life update, just because it's been a while. I have been so busy. So between not having time and not having motivation to read or to make videos, it's been about a month since I've uploaded a video. I think I'm going to scale back a little bit and just plan for one video a week. Maybe that will help. And this summer I should have a little bit more free time. We are in the middle of May currently. We're coming off a really busy last couple weeks. I've been helping a friend stain and screen her entire deck, just the two of us, and it's been a learning process, and it's a lot of work, way more than we thought. So that's been being done in all of our free time when we can both work on that. All of our activities have concluded in this last week. We had 2 different co-ops. We had gymnastics, archery practices, stuff like that. And that has all finished in the last week. We also have birthdays coming up. We have summer activities starting. We have 2 seniors graduating in a month, which I don't even know. So a lot of things, a lot of moving parts. Anyways, that's why I haven't been around. But yeah, let's jump into the bookish things. First, I would like to talk about some of the books that I've read recently. Now, these are all from, I think, April, and then a couple here in May so far. I may or may not finish another book this month. I have slowed down my reading, obviously, and I don't know if I'm going to make my reading goal at the end of the year, because not only that, but we haven't been reading at night with my daughter, so the extra books in the challenge to count for hers, it's making it pretty difficult. But anyways, I'm looking at my notebook over here. I have 6 books to talk about. A few of them are for my daughter because they had been read for school. So I will go over those first. We'll just briefly touch on them. One that we had been reading a lot of the year was The Wheel on the School. This is a Dutch author, and this book was written in the 50s. I think it's a Newbery Award-winning classic children's book. We read this for my daughter's literature this year. This book is out of print, so it's kind of hard to track down, and I had finally found a copy, and I am so glad I did, because I ended up really, really loving this book. It's about these 6 kids who live in this tiny village, and so that's all of the kids in this little school in the village. There's some other littler siblings that aren't old enough for school, but there's only 6 kids in this school. Something comes up about storks, and so the teacher's like, okay, like, you want to learn about storks? we can do this. They were talking about how the storks don't roost in their town, but they roost in all the towns around them. And he was like, find out why. How can we change this? And the teacher's like, if you get storks here, you get a day off from school. And they're like, let's do this. It's just this really, really sweet, calm story about how these kids learn about storks, try to foster an environment for where the storks can roost in their town, and all the things that happen in that course of time. But yeah, I ended up really, really, really loving this book. So many good themes. Like, if you have a chance to read this, I think even as an adult, you can really enjoy this. I rated it 4.5 stars. The next one we read for school was Sarah Plain and Tall. My daughter is actually still in the middle of it, but I had read it so that I can have discussions with her. And this is a really, really short book. I think it's only like 80 pages long. It's about a gentleman who has these 2 kids. His wife had passed. He really needs someone to help around the house with the kids while he works the farm. And it takes place back in the prairie days. And so he's like, I need a wife. Where's someone that can come be a wife? And I don't know how he gets in connection with this woman, Sarah, but she decides to come to the prairie and meet them and see if pretty much she's compatible with the family. And it was cute. It was really sweet. I think they could have done a lot more with the details and the storyline, and it could have been a really, really good book. But it is a level 3 book, so it's pretty basic. It was still good. I rated it 3.5 stars. Then for my own books, let's see. The first one that I finished recently was Night Falls on Predicament Avenue by Jamie Jo Wright. That one was for Laura's Lovely Libraries book club, I think in April. I had only read one other Jamie Jo Wright book. This one is really, really good. It's, of course, a dual timeline about this property on Predicament Avenue where someone had been known to be and seen murdered there, but then they don't know what happened to her back in the past. And then in the now timeline, the property has been made into an Airbnb, and there's like some things going on, and they're trying to figure out what it is, if it's related to what happened in the past. I really enjoyed it. Jamie Jo Wright is really good about atmosphere in her books, and I rated this one 4.5 stars, and I can't wait to read more by Jamie Jo Wright. I have loved everything that I've read by her so far. Then I reread a book, Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. This is one of my all-time top favorite books. And of course, the movie just came out, and I wanted to reread the book for the movie release. And then the week that it was to be released on Friday, I came to a co-op meetup. One of my besties was reading Remarkably Bright Creatures. She had just started it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I just finished this. The movie's coming out. We decided to do a movie night, but she hasn't finished the book yet. And she was like, you go ahead and watch the movie. And I was like, if you can promise me a movie night, I will wait until you're done. So I am really looking forward to doing that. But of course, I rated again 5 stars. This is about a woman who works cleaning a small aquarium at night, and her interactions with the octopus and his point of view of being in the aquarium and just the things. I love it. I love it so much. And if you like mystery, but like heartfelt stories, this would be really great. The next one that I finished was Water for Elephants. Now, y'all know, if you've been around here, that I've been reading this one for quite a while, and I finally just picked it up and binged through the rest of it. I was a little over halfway through, and so it didn't take me too long to finish it. And this is another dual timeline about this old gentleman in a nursing home, and he's reflecting back on his younger years of being in a circus for a short time. And I liked it. I think I have talked about this when I mentioned it before, about how kind of crude language for the younger timeline, and other than that, I really liked it. I really like circuses, and that is a huge buzzword for me. Except for the crudeness, I did really enjoy it, so I rated it 4 stars. Let's see. the last one is If Only I Had Told Her, which is the second book in a duology. The first one being If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nowlin. I read the first one a couple years ago on audio in one day, loved it. I think I rated it 5 stars. And I've heard that the second one is kind of repetitive. It's from the guy character. It's from his viewpoint, and it pretty much retells the same story, but there's more from her viewpoint as well afterwards. So it's like broken up into the first half is his and the second half is hers. It was good. I didn't love it nearly as much as the first one, but I did like it, rated it 4 stars. So those are the books that I've read over the last month and a half. Some of the books that I am in the middle of, is because I can't just read one lately. I don't know what my deal is. One I've been reading for quite a while, that is Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. This is one of my 12 books recommended by 12 friends. My daughter, who is 17, recommended this to me. She hasn't read the rest of the books, but she did enjoy the first book, and I figure I'm probably not going to enjoy it enough to continue on either. I'm not a huge fantasy reader, but this one has actually been interesting enough for me to read. I think I'm about like 70% of the way through. I'm reading it on my Kindle, but I had it from the library on Libby, and I need to get the copy again, and I just haven't done that yet to finish it. Maybe this weekend I can do that. The next one that I'm in the middle of is The Magician's Nephew by C.S. Lewis. This is what I consider the first book of the Chronicles of Narnia series. In written order, it's actually like the 3rd or 4th book, I think, but in the storyline, it is the first book, and I have to read it in chronological order because I remember being a kid in like 4th grade and kids recommending The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe for me to read. And they would kind of tell me about it and how there's this lamppost in the middle of the woods and like telling me, and I'm like, but why? And they're like, I don't know, it's just the way it is and it's really good. And I was like, but I need to know why. Like, that doesn't make any sense. So I never read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe until I read The Magician's Nephew first. I had to read that first to know why Narnia was the way it was before I could read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Having done that, I do love the book series. I've read them all. The Magician's Nephew is one of my favorites of the series, but we are reading The Magician's Nephew with my daughter in her little pod group, and the girls have been enjoying it. So it's been fun. I think we have like 4 chapters left maybe, but that one's just as we go along and read the book is when I'm reading that one. And then I recently just picked up Just Friends by Haley Pham and started reading that just randomly and spontaneously. And so yeah, I'm only about 10 or 15% of the way into that one. Not very far, but so far I'm enjoying it. We'll see how it goes. Just Friends, I actually picked up from the library, and so I have a couple more library books here that I'm going to show you. I had requested Her Last Breath by Taylor Adams because this one is the Sleep When I'm Dead book club pick for May, I believe. And so when I went in to pick this up, I was like, I'm just going to run in and pick up the book. But of course, I can't just do that. And I started perusing the shelves, and I picked up Just Friends, which is in the other room. And then I also picked up Lady Tremaine by Rachel Hochhauser. I've heard that some people have been disappointed by this, but then I heard Carly at She's Becoming Bookish. She reads a lot of historical fiction, and she really loved this book. And I love historical fiction, and I think going into this with the right expectations might be the thing for this, because this is supposed to be a retelling of Cinderella from the stepmother's point of view. And I think people were a little bit disappointed in how that story progressed. I can't recall if there was also some about the writing, but Carly was talking about the changes and differences to that story, not like in detail. I think going in with those expectations is going to help with the enjoyment level of that. So those are the 3 books that I got from the library. I'm constantly getting books out from the library and not reading them. At least it helps the library whether I read them or not. And hopefully I can get to these crossing my fingers. The last thing that I would like to talk about are just some challenges that I'm adding for the summer, or there's one that's actually just a long running challenge. Like, I need more challenges. But I did drop a couple of the challenges that I started at the beginning of the year. I wasn't really participating, and so I just stopped tracking a couple of those. But here are some that I've added. So in the month of June, there's a really fun one that I came across that sounds like I need to at least try to participate. It's called Back to Kindle Readathon. It's a cruise theme, and I can't recall the exact details, but there's stops along the way. Each week they'll make a stop, like an excursion, and you don't know what those prompts are until that week. And so you're reading books to complete these excursions. And then there's also month-long prompts for the things that you can do on the ship, and you read all Kindle books. So that sounds really fun and something that wouldn't be too difficult to add into my other reading, because I tend to read more on my Kindle at night and when I'm on the go versus physical books. That one, if you want some more information, I'll link to that and put it up in the cards. I found this by the channel Rylanne Holloway, so I will link to that if you want more details. The next one that I'm adding is a reading challenge, but there's like no end and there's no like length to it. It is the Simlit Society, and I'm like, yes, I need to do this. But with this one, you read books to the prompts to fulfill your world, fulfill your characters. There's going to be expansions added on. I'm not sure how that's going to happen, but there's all these ways of like increasing your skills by reading different prompts, and like depending on which prompts you read is what kind of job you have, and all these different things. So interesting, very like intricate, but like also simply done, and I just love it. There's all kinds of trackers and everything. I believe there's a Discord group with all the info and everything, but I found that one on the Reading and Writing Life. So again, I will link that down below if you are interested in finding out more information. It looks so fun. I will be doing more videos to kind of foster that challenge. Some other ones that I've added are not necessarily like ones that I've found online or on YouTube or anything, but more personal challenges like completing Authors to Zero. I will probably do a video talking about the different lists of authors' works that I want to fulfill, reading all of their novels. I have a list of them. So these are going to be challenges that are going to last for an indefinite amount of time for me to work on. Another one is to read all of the Christie Award winners. Christie Awards are awarded to Christian fiction books. There's only like 12. I think this year will be the 12th year that they picked like an overall Christie Award winner. So there's 12 books for those books of the year. And then they also have like winners of different genres, and there's different genres sometimes for different years. And like, especially here lately, there's a lot of genres. And so I might add those on in the future, but for now I'm just focusing on the currently 11 to be 12 books of the year Christie Award winners. So that's a fun challenge. And then the last challenge and the last thing I'm going to talk about is this new Girl Summer Reading Challenge that I created. I created this for my girls in the pod group, and it's going to be like a reading challenge to encourage them to read through the summer, and at the end of the summer they'll get a prize if they complete all of these challenges. I just did a little 9-square bingo board, and I will post that right up here. It's called Girl Summer Reading Bingo. There's 9 prompts plus a bonus prompt. So if they complete all of the 9 main prompts, they'll get a prize. And if they complete the bonus prompt, they'll get a bonus prize. Maybe I'll do a separate dedicated video for this, but here are all of the prompts. And like I said, this is for my girls. So they're like 9 and 10 years old, but I feel like this is pretty adaptable to adults. You might want to extend the time limits that are listed on here or change a few things for yourself, but otherwise I think it's pretty easy to do for anyone, and they're very general. So I am really excited about that. It's going to be fun. anyways, I think that is all that I have to talk about today. Kind of really catches everybody up on everything that has been going on in my life and my reading life in general. So, yeah. Thanks for watching. If you stuck around this long, please let me know in the comments down below. Say hi, anything. But thanks for watching, and hopefully I will see you again soon. Bye.